So I am trying to visit every county in Scotland. This is my third so far, and we're going to explore Ross and Cromarty. So our first stop is Rogie Falls. To be honest, I'm just kind of winging it for this whole trip. I did have a look at the map and I did look up a few things that we could do, but I found it kind of overwhelming. There were just so many places that looked so pretty that I thought I would just like come along on the journey and see what we fancy doing on the day. So yeah, first stop, Rogie Falls. Don't know much about it. Apparently it's a big salmon leaping place and it's the right time of year, so wish us luck. Just on our way back to the car, and it's really pretty here. It's nice to be in a mixed woodland. The waterfalls are stunning. Mattia saw 2 salmon. I heard them drop back into the water, but I was looking somewhere else. But that's lovely. It's busy. I tried to do all my filming without people in, just because I prefer it that way. But yeah, there's quite a few people around. I think it must be a really popular site. It is a Saturday though. So it's day 2 of our trip to Ross and Cromarty. We had a really nice night last night at the Sands Camp and Caravan Park. We got up at like 4 AM to have a look at the stars, and it was totally worth it. The sky was completely clear, so we could see the Milky Way. I think there's been literally just a handful of times I've been somewhere where I've seen the Milky Way, so it's always just kind of really spectacular. I always get excited seeing that. But we also think we might have seen the aurora, so it wasn't sort of like quite as romantic as when you see the images somewhere like Iceland or Norway, but there was kind of like a greenish glow across the horizon. So we think that was the aurora, but we didn't really have the equipment to take any pictures or try and capture it in any way. But we had a great time. Then this morning it was just really chill. We watched people taking down their tents. We watched the bay for a while and saw dolphins. I popped to get a cappuccino from the little cafe that's on the campsite called, I think it's called the Barn Cafe. And then we headed out for our walk. not before I popped into a little craft shop and got some trinkets. And now we're on a walk that kind of leads from, I think it's called Badachro. So it led around the coastline and is now coming back through like this marshy wetland. So I'll show you that walk now. We tried to sit down and have our lunch, but the midges said, "Fuck you." Oh, cheat. It's day 3 and we're actually just sort of heading back to Aberdeen really slowly. it's just not really stopping raining. It rained all night, it was torrential, and now it's still raining today. So I think maybe we'll just do a couple of quick stops. So the first stop is Victoria Falls, and actually to get to the first viewpoint, it's like 100 meters from the car, but we're gonna walk a bit further up the track, see what we can see. From Victoria Falls to Blackwater Falls. Spa town. It actually reminded me an awful lot of being in like the high peaks somewhere like Matlock. Definitely didn't feel like being in Scotland. It was kind of really surreal. It was cool. We actually stopped to go and see a class 1 Pictish symbol stone called the Eagle Stone, or it's called the Sounding Stone in Gaelic. But I'm not going to try and say the Gaelic because I normally fail at that. But yeah, it was a nice little stop. I feel like today's been quite bitty. We've just kind of like stopped a few times and had like a really short walk just because the weather's really awful and we're kind of a little bit sick of being damp at this point. Yeah, I feel like I've not done Ross and Cromarty justice in this episode. Like it's a huge county, and I've only really showed the Rossshire part of it. I have been to Cromartyshire. It's beautiful. I just feel like there's so much to do here, and there is so much I would like to come back and see. There's loads of museums, like the Russian Arctic Convoy Museum. There's a heritage museum in Gairloch. There was just a museum of childhood in Strathpeffer. There's Inverewe, which is a Scottish National Trust garden that's supposed to be really beautiful. There's like a snorkeling trail. There's like tons of mountains to climb. There's loads of lochs to explore. I'd love to go on a boat trip. There's like honestly so much to do here, and I have not been able to show you any of that in just a weekend. But what we have seen has definitely made us want to come back and see more. So I hope you've enjoyed this snippet. Again, I'll put up the top 10 things to do in Ross and Cromarty, but of course, I mean, just be aware that's 10 things across like an enormous county. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.